Brandi Temple is the founder of an online apparel company with a most unusual name, Lolly Wolly Doodle. She started selling homemade children's dresses on eBay, and today, Lolly Wolly Doodle is a multi-million-dollar company. Take a look.
When Brandi Temple started selling her homemade dresses on Facebook 5 years ago, she had no idea what to expect. But not only did they sell, Brandi managed to crack the code on e-commerce by outselling big brands on the internet. In her book, Scrappy, Brandi shares how she transitioned from a full-time mom at flea markets to the CEO of a successful company, and what she's kept at the forefront of all her operations.
Please welcome to the 700 Club, Brandi Temple. It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Your company has just flourished unbelievably, but let's go back to the beginning for a moment because it really started out of a need in your life. Talk about that.
It really did. So my daughters were 5 years apart, and I wanted them to match. So the need was sort of, I wanted to make them a couple things. And I had some leftover fabric, enjoyed it, and started putting some things on eBay to sell. And then my husband's job started going downhill. And it was with the economy and, construction industry. He was in heavy equipment. And as his was going down, mine was sort of coming up. So I said, okay, instead of just manicure money, maybe this needs to be light bill money. And so we started, seeing that start to flourish. And then at just the right, perfect moment when everything did flip, the business was taking off and he was laid off. And, it was no longer a hobby. We decided it had to be a business.
I mean, this is one of those businesses that really started in a little sewing room and then to the garage. And then today you have how many people working for you?
We have about 150 people working for us.
Wow.
Yes, and we still do some of our outsourcing and with our smocked goods, and that's sort of how, the whole Facebook finagle is really started was, something just out of necessity and need, and I put it on there to get rid of some things. And then today, now we're
I love your description in the book where you kept hearing the ding, ding, ding of people hitting your site.
And it's like, what is that? And I didn't know it was the lottery going off.
Look at this. I mean, these are so precious. I mean, my grandma was a smocker, and it's hard to find things like this today.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted my girls to really have that, being from the South.
Classic,
that classic and that Southern and all that, just sweetness to them. And I just couldn't find it. And then I couldn't afford it when I did find it. So it was like, I'm on a budget here.
Well, that's the smock dress. One of the big items on your site today is the leggings for little girls and bigger girls. You've got beautiful patterns and just some really lovely things. But talk about, you mentioned Facebook because you kind of broke the code with that. I mean, it started with eBay, but then how did it happen that you decided to use Facebook?
Well, that's when God really stepped in. And we said he has the best sense of humor because I knew nothing about social media. Matter of fact, I didn't know Facebook was called social media. So in one of my first meetings,
I love that.
Yes, I mean, they're talking about, you've conquered social media and all these things you've done. And I'm like,
I have?
Yeah, okay, that's great. About halfway through, I realized they're talking about Facebook. Facebook is social media. So, when it all happened and then, it was there and it was these moments and these people were buying things and this frenzy started and and I get contacted from this amazing woman in New York with this business background, and she's saying, you're onto something. How did you do this? This is what's in the news.
And I want to invest in your company.
I want to invest in your company.
You didn't even go searching for that.
And so when everybody asked me, how did you figure it out? I said, I didn't. I mean, God just told me that day, put it on Facebook, and it was like that little voice that was in the back of my head, and I listened, and I just sort of did something that I thought was common sense. Yeah. Lots of people are out there.
And where are you at today as a company?
As a company, well, we have 150 employees. We have every year continued to grow. And that is not taking into effect that when Facebook changed their algorithm, which anybody in business out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. It's almost like equivalent to, the business downfall, starting over. We had to change our business overnight. And a company to stay around and to be able to even,
thrive.
withstand that,
Not just stay
in
withstand,
itself,
but thrive.
yes, was a testament in itself that God really had plans for us.
Well, I want to talk about that because your book is so much more than just the story of your company. I mean, it really offers some wise counsel to people. And just as you're talking about that whole algorithm change, you say over and over in the book, in life we get to go do start-overs, do-overs.
Yes.
We get replays of
Yes.
things. And God has used that in your life because you've been willing to not just sit and be overwhelmed by your circumstances, but to grab the bull by the horns and move forward.
You have to. And you have to start from where you are. Start from where you are and start today.
Yeah.
It's not tomorrow, it's not the next day. And you know what? You find yourself in the wrong place a week from now, you hit the reset button.
Yes.
Start over.
Yes.
And people don't realize that. It's well, I have to wait until my kids are this age, or I have to do this. You can take baby steps.
Yes.
Financially, maybe you can't leave a job that you don't like and you have an idea in your head. No, but you can start planning and doing things on the side. And God gives us all of these ideas and these thoughts. And I used to think it was just, intuition and stuff. I now realize that voice, intuition, is what he's telling me to do.
Yes.
And you just listen to it, and you just take that journey.
Well, one of the things I loved about the book also is your description of and encouragement of aha moments.
Yes.
Things that, what is that? Talk about that.
So aha moments are things that happen in your life, and they can be devastating at the time. And that's the moments you're sitting there and you're like, why, God, why? And you don't understand, and it makes no sense. But 3 years down the road, something happens. For me, when Franny was killed in the car accident, his aorta was torn from his heart, and I had lots of questions, and it was a really
deep loss.
It was
Yeah.
such a deep loss, and it was that point for me. But 2 years after that, I actually witnessed a guy die on a motorcycle, and he died from the same thing. How bizarre! And when I found that out, his wife came in and talked to me, and she was like, all I want to know is, did he suffer and everything else? Because I was right there with him, and I was able to say, not one bit. He closed his eye. So it's those moments, and they're not always sad, and they can be so happy. And from dealing to, my life of when I worked in a bridal store and helping people as they come in, and just realizing that everybody is a person.
Everybody has a story.
Everyone has a story, and, just because someone comes in, not judging the book by its cover, but it all ties back in. And there's going to be questions, and I say it in the book, you know what? No, I'm not saying right now that everything is answered, and we're going to hear everything, but if you just listen,
and there is a
amazing.
pattern to it all if you'll take the time to look for it. Brandi
Yes.
Temple's book is called Scrappy. She's been scrappy, and it's paid off. It's available wherever books are sold. If you'd like to hear more from Brandi, log on to our Facebook page. We have a web-exclusive interview with her at facebook.com/700club. Thank you.
Thank
what
you
a great
so much.
story. What a great story.